Coming up next on Newswatch.
Freedom of speech on campus. Student groups are outraged over a message on a popular graffiti wall. Numberfest this weekend. How the city is preparing after changes to transportation.
Along with two Ohio athletics teams looking to close in on conference titles. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
Many Ohio University students may not have seen a recent message on the popular graffiti wall, but it's getting a lot of attention thanks to social media. Good evening, I'm Catherine Blaine. Thanks for joining us. We have the latest on how the graffiti wall is starting conversations about freedom of speech. Erica King now joins us live at the graffiti wall. Erica?
Yeah, Catherine, the various messages that have been tweeted on this wall recently is just a larger reflection of the conversations that's been happening across the country when it comes to issues of race, free speech, and politics. Now, just hours earlier, this wall had a completely different message. Some might say it was divisive and exclusionary, but OU College Republicans say that wasn't their intent at all. But they had a take on national security and not race.
OU's infamous graffiti wall is once again the center of controversy. Last night, the OU College Republicans painted the wall with the phrase saying, quote, "Trigger warning, there are no safe spaces in real life. You can't wall off the First Amendment," end quote. The message immediately gained attention and caused a stir on social media, some saying they felt threatened by the message. The president of the College Republicans, David Parkhill, says that wasn't the intent.
I Googled it when I got home and I saw someone tweeted that, this is an offense, all the gun violence. Everything that came up was what we meant it to mean, the trigger warning, like, careful, if you read this, you might get offended.
The Black Student Union president, Kamaya Gatson, says everyone has the right to free speech, but sometimes it's taken out of context.
There's a very thin line between free speech and overstepping that boundary into slander and obscenity and different things like that. So I think as long as free speech is being applied equally, more than welcome to. You telling us that you can't wall off the First Amendment, we can't have conversations about how to be better allies, how to be a better Bobcat family, is doing that exact same thing. So I think if you're going to say everyone should have the right to free speech, you should practice what you preach.
And now some students have taken to the wall again to express a message of unity and support.
Now, the OU College Republicans and multicultural groups met with Dr. Jenny Hall-Jones earlier this afternoon to discuss issues. Now, there's no word yet whether they settled anything, but I'll keep you updated. Reporting live for WOUB News, I'm Erica King. Catherine, back to you.
Well, thanks, Erica. Now, in other university news, students are likely to stick around after their first year. At least that's what President Roderick McDavis's report said earlier this week. So I took a deeper look into retention rates here at Ohio University.
We really admit every single student hoping that they will be a Bobcat with us for 4 years.
Freshman retention rates have increased by 1.4%. So now, 80% of freshmen stay after their first year. OU has a better retention rate than most Ohio public universities. Assistant Dean Jenny Klein credits this to learning communities and the Academic Advancement Center for first-year students. But 20% of Bobcats still leave, so almost 900 students are dropping out. Klein says a new program next fall can help.
We will have a new academic assistance program called Starfish that we will implement in the fall. And that is a program that will help academic advisors assist struggling students sooner.
University research indicates first-generation college students are more likely to drop out after freshman year. But the university now has resources to help these first-generation students.
That's a part of our access and excellence mission, because Ohio University really wants to be a transformative educational experience for students.
According to a report from the ACT, among public institutions, an average of 64.2% of full-time, first-time students return for their sophomore year. And the city of Athens is warning residents about possible traffic delays for an annual music festival. The festival, known as Numberfest, recently changed its rules and could affect street safety as Ohio University students travel to and from the concert. This year, attendees cannot bring their own alcohol, and festival organizers will not provide transportation to the venue. Athens County Sheriff Rodney Smith isn't sure how much of the impact new policies will have, but is hoping for the best.
Well, every year we're hopeful that it'll be better. We're going to have less problems. But inside the venue itself, I mean, we just try to maintain and make it as safe as we can for the patrons. And as the night progresses on, and normally the foot traffic will go from the venue and go on 56 and head back into Athens is really where our problem begins.
As of yesterday, around 11,800 tickets for the fest had been sold. An Athens County Sheriff's drug dog is now retired, and his handler will be able to buy the dog for $1. Ejo was taken out of service last month after biting an inmate during a drug search. A dog trainer evaluated Ejo for possible retraining, but determined the dog could not go back into service. The county commissioners voted earlier this week to allow Ejo's handler, John Kolchar, to buy the dog. Under state law, a handler is given the first opportunity to buy the dog for $1.
If many of you were able to get outside today, you could tell that it was gorgeous outside. Currently here in Athens, we are at a beautiful 66 degrees under sunny skies with winds out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. But as we look around the region, we can see temps are around the same with mid to upper 60s, with 66 being the highest temperature around the region, with New Lexington at 66 as well as Cambridge, with Marietta and New Martinsville as well as 68, with the highest being around 70. But as we go through the night, we will see temps cool down into the mid to low 50s under clear skies. So if you do plan to go out tonight, you might want a small jacket, but it will be clear, so and the winds won't be that bad, so it will be a great night to go out. Back to you, Blaine.
Medical marijuana might appear on the Ohio ballot once again. The Ohio Ballot Board certified the proposal today. The Medicinal Cannabis and Industrial Hemp Amendment will go forward as a single issue. Grassroots Ohio must collect more than 300,000 signatures to get it on the ballot. The proposal would give adults the right to have cannabis for medicinal purposes. Ohio Governor John Kasich is taking steps to reduce suicide. Officials say more than 1,000 people die by suicide each year in Ohio. Health officials announced plans yesterday to reduce this number. Programs will include resources for survivors, crisis hotline collaboration, and research. A goal of the plan is to identify suicide as a major public issue. A man who pleaded guilty to kidnapping his 5-year-old son in 2002 faces 4 years in prison. Bobby Hernandez admitted to taking his son Julian from Alabama and establishing new identities for the two of them in Ohio. His son is now 19 years old. Everything began to unravel last year when Julian was applying to college and his name and social security number didn't match up. Hernandez's son spoke at the trial, asking the judge to not send his father to jail.
And yes, growing up without my mother was painful at times, but taking my father away from me now just increases the pain from that. And taking him from me now is just doing the same thing all over again to me.
His son also said, quote, "Even if other people can't, I love and forgive him." But a judge sentenced Hernandez to prison time yesterday. And coming up, mothers in Nigeria are finally seeing evidence their kidnapped daughters are alive after 2 years of silence. And the final Democratic showdown before the primary in Hillary Clinton's home state. The topics that you can expect in tonight's debate. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat Pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back. The Democratic presidential candidates are getting set to take the debate stage together for the first time in more than a month. Karen Kafa has a preview of what to expect.
Nathan's Hot Dogs, Junior's Cheesecake, and Subway rides. Two candidates doing everything they can to show New York Democrats they're right at home.
It is great to be back.
It is so great to be back in New York.
Their last major contest was on April 5th in Wisconsin, so Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders have had plenty of time for a New York state of mind. Their back and forth started to turn sharper last week, first over the word qualified.
Maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq.
I don't know why he's saying that. Let's keep our eye on what's really at stake in this election.
This week, a spat over credibility. The Sanders campaign circulating a release with the header, Clinton's Credibility Gap, a Clinton aide calling it a character attack. On the issues, Sanders, looking for votes upstate, attempted to tie Clinton with Manhattan.
During the last filing period, our largest super PAC reported raising $25 million from special interests, including $15 million from Wall Street.
While Clinton sought a distinction on guns.
This is one of the biggest differences in this primary. My opponent voted against the Brady bill 5 times.
It's familiar turf for the Brooklyn-born senator and the former senator from New York. But tonight, 6 months after they shared a debate stage for the first time, it's a new tone in this nomination fight. In Brooklyn, New York, I'm Karen Kafa.
Thanks, Karen. The Democratic presidential debate will begin tonight at 9 p.m. The New York primary will be next week. Donald Trump's campaign manager will not be prosecuted over a dispute with a female reporter. The reporter, Michelle Fields, was trying to ask the GOP frontrunner a question when she was pulled away from the presidential candidate. Corey Lewandowski was arrested and charged following the incident, but the prosecutor says the claims likely wouldn't stick in court. He also says legal action could have been avoided with just an apology.
There was no deal where we're going to drop charges in exchange for an apology. But as I said earlier, in a case like this, we do encourage an apology. We think it's a good idea. And I think that had an apology been given at the beginning of all this, we could have avoided the whole criminal justice process.
Fields posted pictures of her bruised arm on Twitter following the March 8th incident. The prosecutor says Fields is upset the charges were dropped. And almost 2 years ago, 276 Nigerian schoolgirls were kidnapped by Boko Haram. There was no word of their fate until now. Video shows 15 of the schoolgirls kidnapped in northern Nigeria were alive as recently as December. When mothers of some of the missing were shown the video, they identified all the girls shown. A source said the video was provided by the terror group to show of good faith. The video ends with the girl saying, "We are all well." She then delivers what sounds like a scripted plea, urging the Nigerian government to fulfill unspecified promises. And Russian President Vladimir Putin is blaming the U.S. for a scandal now affecting his administration. Putin accused Washington of being behind the so-called Panama Papers. The papers include millions of leaked documents that implicate several world leaders for using offshore financial companies for possible illegal activities. Putin wasn't named in the documents, but some of his high-level associates were. Putin says the German newspaper behind the leaks is connected to the American bank Goldman Sachs, and he believes the U.S. intelligence community was involved in the leak. He claims the U.S. government did it because it wanted to de-establish his regimen before Russian elections in September. The U.S. has yet to respond to Putin's allegations. On Wall Street today, U.S. stocks ended up more or less where they started after a brief midday rally faded. A paralyzed Ohio resident gets to experience something he never thought would be possible, all thanks to an experimental computer chip. That story's still ahead.
How long will the sunshine last, and will we warm up warmer than we were today? That plus your extended forecast, next on Newswatch.
Body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Jenny Gurecki. Today was wonderful. It was a lot warmer than it was yesterday. As we can see, the temperature is currently 66 degrees under sunny skies with winds out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. We can see that we were a little above normal today at 68, but who's complaining with that? But we were a little cooler than normal at 30 degrees instead of being at 42 as our normal. But the day is getting longer with the sunset being around 8:05, so if you can, get out and enjoy it for as long as you can. The day will continue to get longer. As we look around the region, we can see temps are around the mid to upper 60s with 66 here in Athens as well as down in New Lexington, with the warmest being 70 and down in Ironton. As we look at the precip, we can see a high pressure is dominating our region, which will continue on to tomorrow, so we will not see rain through the weekend or until early next week. As we look through tonight, we will see lows will drop down to the low 40s, with the coolest being here in Athens at 39 degrees. But we will see mid-40s around the region with 45 here in Jackson, with the warmest being 46 in Ironton under clear skies. So there will be no clouds to keep us warm tonight, sadly. we will dip down into around 50 degrees as we go through the night around midnight. So if you do plan on going out, you may need a light jacket as you go through the night, with the low dipping all the way down to 39 degrees. But it will be clear skies with winds out of the east-northeast at 0 to 3 miles an hour. But when you take your kids out to the bus stop tomorrow, it will be a chilly 42 degrees, but it will warm up as we go through the day. As you can see, with temps going into the mid to upper 60s at around 3 o'clock under sunny skies, so it will be another great day outside, with a high eventually reaching 71 degrees under sunny skies with winds out of the southeast at 0 to 5, which will keep pushing warm air toward us. And as we can look around the region, we will see highs in the low 70s with 73, the highest in Marietta, with the lowest in New Martinsville at 68 degrees. As we look for the 7-day ahead, we can see the warmest will be here on Sunday, but we will stay around 70, 75 degrees as we go through the week. So we will stay around to maybe above average as we go into the weekend, but lows will stay warmer than 40 or so degrees, so you won't have to worry about any more of those freeze or frost warnings for a while, as we will stay warmer. So if you can get out and enjoy the week, please do. It will be tremendous. Over to you, Blaine.
Hey, thanks, Jenny. Now, experimental use of a brain chip is allowing a paralyzed Ohio man to regain some use of his right hand. Ian Burkhart can grasp a bottle, pick up a stick, and stir a liquid, things he thought he could never do again. But he can only do these things for a few hours a week, hooked up to equipment in a lab. The device interprets brain signals and stimulates his muscles with electrodes in his arm. 2 years ago, surgeons placed a tiny chip on Burkhart's brain that penetrates just below the surface. Burkhart was a college freshman when he broke his neck by diving into the ocean and slamming into a sandbar.
Oh, it's just something that's so fluid. It's just kind of like it was before I had my injury, where I just think about what I want to do, and now I can do it.
Researchers hope the system will eventually be able to be used in everyday lives of people with spinal cord injuries. Abby, let's go over to you.
Thanks, Catherine. Welcome to the Sports Center. I'm Abby Carnevale. Ohio baseball and softball will continue their MAC play this weekend, and I'll have what we should look forward to in those matchups. Along with that, the Kings fired head coach George Karl. That's all up next on Newswatch. But in the meantime, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Just one day after the regular season, the Sacramento Kings decided to part ways with head coach George Karl, putting themselves in the head coach search for their 9th coach since 2007. Although Karl had the 6th most wins by a head coach in the NBA at 1,175, he finished this season at 33-49. Karl only spent 1.5 seasons in Sacramento. According to GM Vlade Divac, it was necessary to move forward with a new voice from the head coaching position. The Golden State Warriors cemented their place in NBA history last night, defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 125-104 to win an NBA record 73 regular season games this season. The Warriors now turn their attention to their first-round playoff opponent, the Houston Rockets. But the Warriors game wasn't the only NBA landmark last night. Kobe Bryant played in his last game to end a 20-year career. Lakers head coach Byron Scott had one message for his team last night, and that was to get the ball to Kobe. 50 shots later, the Staples Center was roaring, and Bryant finished with 60 points out of 22 for 50 shooting in a 101-96 win over the Utah Jazz, scoring the go-ahead basket in the final minute to seal the victory. Switching over to the spring season and a little bit closer to home, the Ohio softball season continues this weekend in Athens. The Lady Cats are scheduled their first pitch of the weekend series against Akron starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Zips are coming off sweeping Buffalo last weekend and currently only one spot ahead of Ohio in the MAC. Also on the diamond but not in the Wren is Ohio baseball. They'll be traveling to Bowling Green tomorrow morning for a weekend series with the first pitch scheduled for tomorrow at 3:05. BG is currently trying to recover from a 5-game losing skid, whereas Bobcats are hoping their doubleheader sweep on Sunday and close win against Dayton on Tuesday can give them momentum to improve their rank in the MAC East. While Ohio fall athletes are in the midst of their off-season practice, Ohio volleyball head coach Dean Webb had a different approach of leading his team today. Students could have seen him on campus today in a wheelchair, not because of an accident, but because him and several other community members joined together to exhibit fictional disabilities. Webb had a physical disability for the day and didn't have the use of his legs. That's all we have for sports today. Back over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Abby. Hundreds of students are celebrating creativity at Ohio University's annual Student Expo. 3D printers, a drone that took 15 years to make, zombie prosthetic makeup, and ice cream shoes. These are just a few of the displays in the Convocation Center this afternoon. Students presented their latest findings from medicine, astrophysics, education, and environmental science. The expo has been happening for 13 years, and Ohio University Provost Pam Benoit says the event continues to grow.
Well, it's just a terrific experience because students have worked so hard to put together their projects, and this is the culmination then of their efforts to reward them for the incredible efforts that they put forward on their projects.
More than 800 undergrad and graduate students participated in the expo. Now over to Jenny with a final look at weather.
Tonight it will be clear skies, so that means we will cool down to a chilly 39 degrees since the heat will not be able to keep within our atmosphere. But it will be pretty nice, even though it is pretty chilly out. Tomorrow we will have a nice warm up back up to 71 degrees, warmer than it was today, so it will be a lot nicer out tomorrow if you want to go and enjoy the weather for a Friday. As we go for the week ahead, we see the weekend will be a gorgeous weekend. So if you can get out and enjoy it, it will be best weekend so far. Over to you, Blaine.
Hey, thanks, Jenny. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Catherine Blaine. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime you need at WOUB.org. And as always, have a great night.
These students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university